This is severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. Coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. From the Alpha Weather Center, here's Dr. Don.
Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. We got a nasty one out there this morning. Big thunderstorms rumbling across East Alabama into West Georgia. It is coming up on 6:04 a.m. Central, 7:04 a.m. Eastern on your Friday, August the 11th, 2023. And we're going to spend a few minutes with you and talk to you about what's going on. We do have a special weather statement that has been issued by the National Weather Service. Actually, we have three in effect at the moment. We'll start over in Georgia. This is a special weather statement. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of southern Haralson, Carroll, and northwestern Heard counties through 7:15 a.m. this morning. At 6:31 a.m. Eastern, a line of strong thunderstorms located across Sweetwater Lake or near Hollis Crossroads to Lineville and moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. Now, that line has dipped a little further south than that from since then. It really stretches from about Carrollton down to around the Big Springs community in eastern Randolph, and then to a point just south of Wedowee, right about Needham's Hill, and then down to just north of Wadley, and then back across the mountain community in southeastern Clay County, and then stretching down to just north of Alexander City. And then look back over there to the west, north of Weguffka near Sylacauga. We've just got a flooding event taking place over there. We also have a special weather statement that's going to cover Randolph County. And this is going to be for Clay and Randolph. And it is in effect this morning until 6:45 a.m. And the hazard with this storm is going to be winds in excess of 40 miles per hour, torrential rainfall, and very dangerous lightning. So Wedowee, you're getting hammered at the moment. Newell, things are pretty rough there too, all the way up to Graham, and then right down the eastern side of Randolph County. Woodland, just covered up with heavy rain at the moment. Napoleon, Potash, it's moving in on the ridge at the moment, and coming right down Highway 431. So heads up Roanoke, this is headed your way. In that last volume scan, we're noticing maybe some hail involved with this as well. And we're probably looking at about pea-sized hail, maybe as big as marbles in some locations. And that would be out there on Highway 48, close to Lake Wedowee. Maybe on the eastern side of the lake this morning, we have some hail taking place. But the big story here is the torrential rainfall. And we have noticed several locations back behind this line. We're now getting reports of some flooding in some of those areas. My big flooding concern would be right here on this portion of the storm down by Sylacauga, down to around Stewartville. And eventually that's going to be the case there at Goodwater, Hackneyville, and maybe even down here to Alexander City. We could see some flooding with this part of the storm that's over Sylacauga right now, moving to the southeast. Just a tremendous amount of rainfall out there, and the thunder is just relentless this morning. I'm up here in northeast Georgia, and I'll show you. I'm way up here in White County, and I can hear thunder from these storms over near Ball Ground, Georgia. That's going to be a significant ways away, but I just stepped outside, and I can hear that stuff. So you're hearing thunder a long way off. You folks down here in LaGrange are most likely hearing that thunder up in Randolph County. this morning. If you're down in Alexander City, you've got lightning right there on top of you, so that's why you're hearing it. But even you folks down here in the Auburn-Opelika area, up into central and southern Chambers, you're probably hearing a lot of thunder well to your north, and it is moving in your general direction. We don't have anything severe by definition at the moment, but I know a lot of folks are on their way to work this morning. School buses are running this morning, so a lot of people are going to be interacting with this storm on the roadways. You got to give yourself a little extra time because it's going to take you a little bit longer to get where you're going this morning. And a lot of folks, especially in the rural counties that this is affecting right now, will have to traverse those dirt roads. And we know our dirt roads are not the best in the world to start with. And then when we get hit with these types of torrential rains, it doesn't take much for culverts to wash away. So listen to me, folks. If you drive up on water crossing over a roadway, and it doesn't matter if it's paved or if it's dirt, do not cross over that. You don't know what the road condition is under that water, and it's extremely dangerous. Even if you think it's only an inch or so, turn around, go a different way. Do not drive over it. It's not worth the risk. We've had a couple of incidences up here recently in northeast Georgia where we've had people drive across water and there was a 35-foot washout that they couldn't see until they drove right off in it. We had one gentleman that actually lost his life. He was out walking his dog and walked off into a hole like that. That had occurred from a torrential rainfall that happened during the overnight hours. And the sun was up when this happened, but water was still covering the roadway, but it didn't look like it was but about an inch or so, and he just walked right off in it. And it was a tragic situation. So the best idea here is do not drive through water that is running across a roadway. It's not worth taking that risk. Question in the chat room: do we know if schools will be delayed for Randolph County? I do not know that. I have not received any type of information from any schools. I would assume that if they decide to do that, they would send out messages on social media, post it on social media, and maybe even activate their call down tree on the phone. But I have not heard. I have not heard anything, nor have I seen anything on social media that suggests that the schools are going to delay this morning. And I have been looking on social media for that. So if anyone knows the answer to that question, not just Randolph County, but even over in Georgia, Carroll and Hurd, if you've heard that, and also for Randolph, things are getting better in Clay, though there's probably a lot of standing water out there. Then let us know so we can pass that along to everyone this morning. Again, this is not going to be a 3 or 4 hour event. It's going to move through relatively quick, but we're dumping a tremendous amount of water when this thing moves through. So again, that is going to affect travel this morning. So give yourself a little extra time and be extremely careful out there. If you're just joining us, we have a strong line of thunderstorms moving through East Alabama and West Georgia, lined up now basically from Carrollton down to Central Hatchie, down to just north of Roanoke, and then back across Wadley down to just north of Alexander City. Then it trails back off to the west, back into the Childersburg and Sylacauga area. We have seen quite a few reports of flooding this morning from Birmingham, north of Birmingham, downtown Birmingham, all the way back over toward Anniston. Aniana had multiple reports of flooding this morning from the exact same line of storms when it moved through there about 2 hours ago. So that's what we do. We look at what's happening upstream and we prepare for the same effects downstream. So we would have to expect that we do have at least areas of flooding taking place where you see the dark reds on the radar. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see some reports coming out of some roads covered with water all across East Alabama and West Georgia this morning. In the National Weather Service chat room and just looking at some photographs that are being posted there back in the Warrior area, that's up toward Birmingham. And it's a prime example of what I'm talking about. It's a dirt road that's completely covered in water, and there's a guy trying to drive across it. And the problem with that, folks, is I know it's inconvenient, but just think about this. When you do things like that, and then you get into trouble, then we have to send emergency responders to get you out. And now you're putting their lives in jeopardy, and you're taking them away from routine emergency calls that they could be working. So it's a domino effect, and it's just not a smart thing to do. If water is rushing across a roadway or covering a roadway, don't cross it. Turn around. Don't drown. So the Weather Service now is issuing a new special weather statement. And let me get the verbiage up and I'll read it to you. This is going to be a a special weather statement for a strong thunderstorm which will impact portions of Talladega, northern Tallapoosa, northern Coosa, and Clay counties. At 6:14 a.m., Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from near Waldo to Bradford. Movement was to the east at 40 miles per hour, with gusty winds up to about 40 miles per hour. And that certainly can bring down trees and limbs, which in turn brings down power lines. But I got to tell you, the biggest threat with this storm is going to be the torrential rainfall that it's bringing with it as well. And so our map has updated, and so now you see they've added northern Coosa and northern Tallapoosa to this special weather statement. And they're holding on to southeastern Talladega County because it's still coming a monsoon down there in Sylacauga, and that is slowly working toward Goodwater and Weguffka, back over toward New Site. It's going to move right over Alexander City. So if you live in Alexander City and you're out there on the roadways right now, I highly, highly recommend that you get to where you're going and stay put until this moves through. It's going to be extremely dangerous driving conditions in Alexander City here in the next 15 to 20 minutes, and it's going to last probably for about 30 minutes, and then weather conditions should start to improve. Same thing up here in Randolph County. Wedowee, you're on the backside of the heavy rain, so conditions will start to improve. I know it's hard to believe right now because it's pretty ugly. But conditions will start to improve in Wedowee here in the next 15, 20 minutes. Roanoke, you're just now about to get into it. It's moving right down Highway 431. So conditions are going to deteriorate in Roanoke here in the next 10 minutes. And then you're going to have torrential rainfall for 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. And then things will start to get better for you. Over here near Wadley, it's beginning right now. Now, the Wadley portion of the line is not as wide as what we see back over toward Roanoke. So I would not expect it to last as long in Wadley. I do expect it to be as intense, and I'm talking about rain, in Wadley as it's going to be in Roanoke, but I don't think it lasts as long in Wadley as it's going to in Roanoke. So just know that you've got some really heavy rainfall headed your way. In anywhere ahead of this line, If you're familiar with areas that typically have flood-prone issues, then odds are pretty good you're going to see that happen this morning with this type of liquid production coming from these storms, really putting out some tremendous rainfall amounts across East Alabama and West Georgia. Just horrible weather up in Carrollton, Roopville, Franklin. Get ready. It's coming at you right down Highway 100. It'll be in there in just a few moments. We're seeing, just in that frame you're looking at right there, in the last 3 minutes, 362 lightning strikes. So that's a tremendous amount of lightning. Of course, we know what lightning is capable of doing. It's really dangerous. You certainly cannot be outside. You got to be indoors. Folks going to school this morning, I'm going to tell you this, and I may get criticized for it, but if I'm in a situation where I have to be outside down here ahead of this line to get my kids to school, I'm probably going to just wait and take them when it becomes safe, because it's quickly not going to be safe down here in Roanoke to be, going from the house to the vehicle and then pulling up and letting your child out of the vehicle at the school. This is not going to be safe to go through that process until after this storm system moves through. So, whatever happens has to happen, but I don't think I'm going to put my child in that situation. I'm just going to wait until this clears, and then I'm going to take them to school. That's just what Dr. Don would do. Now, you do what you need to do, but I'm taking care of my children, regardless of whether they're going to delay or not. And again, I don't know. They may certainly be doing that. I have not heard. If you're just joining us again, it's coming up on 6:21 Central, 7:21 Eastern on your Friday morning, August the 11th, 2023. I'm Dr. Don, and we are providing live coverage for you as we have some very strong thunderstorms moving across East Alabama into West Georgia. These storms are below severe limits. So we just have special weather statements in effect right now, but the rainfall and lightning output from this line of storms is off the chain. Extremely heavy rainfall and a tremendous amount of electricity with this storm. So you need to be safe out there this morning. My main concern is flooding, especially out in the rural county roads. And so I'm preaching to you, don't drive across water. If water is covering a roadway, do not drive across it. I know that, hey, that's about an inch of water. I mean, my vehicle can drive through that, and you're correct. Your vehicle probably could. But here's the problem. You don't know what the condition of the road is under that water. There could be a sinkhole there that you can't see. Because what happens with culverts is the pipes get stopped up, and then the water's going to find a way. Trust me, water is going to find a way. So the pipes get stopped up with debris, and they eventually bore a hole parallel to that pipe, or this is an old pipe that's corroded about halfway under the road, and so water gets out of the pipe and then burrows all the way through and blows out the other side. So now you have a tunnel that runs parallel to that pipe, and so when you drive over it, there's not enough dirt between where the tunnel is and the surface of the road, and it caves in. And guess where your vehicle goes? It goes right into that hole that's walled out under the surface of the roadway that you can't see. It may look perfectly fine until your vehicle tries to cross it, and then it collapses with you and your family in the vehicle. Those situations are tragic, and they can be avoided. It doesn't have to happen. How do you keep it from happening? You don't drive through water that's crossing a roadway, regardless of how safe it may appear from the surface. You turn around. If you're on a road that there only has one way in and one way out of your area, so be it. Go back home. You miss a day of work. Your child misses a day of school. But guess what? You get to try it again tomorrow instead of gathering the family to come to your funeral. I mean, I know I'm being a little dramatic here, but I'm trying to make a point. Those types of deaths and injuries don't have to happen if you simply don't do it. Don't drive across water crossing a roadway. I'm going to pass the plate here in a few moments for those of you willing to. Yeah, I know. I get on my soapboxes, but I'm so passionate about that because it's so frustrating as an emergency manager and as a first responder. I work in the management level of all of that now, but I have to see our younger folks physically go and rescue people in those type situations, and it's just so frustrating because it just doesn't have to happen. Use a little common sense. Don't drive through water. All right, so we're watching this line of thunderstorms move through East Alabama, and I'm going to back the loop up and put it in motion. I'm going to let it loop through and see if we can pick up any trends here. As far as Randolph County is concerned, the one trend I would get from that loop is that we have an area right here where we may have some small hail taking place. It would be over the Friendship community area, and we've seen this on the reflectivity a couple of times over the last 15 minutes from Lake Wedowee all the way down to Friendship. One volume scan, it's there. The next, it's not. But it's stayed in the same area as the storm has progressed to the southeast. So I would say right there around the Friendship community, there is possibly some small hail. And the storm continues to come down 431. Now, I don't think the storm is as wide as it once was. I mean, look over here from Woodland all the way down to Rock Mills. We've got that red, which is the torrential rainfall. But that portion that's going to come over Roanoke and Wadley isn't that wide. We can tell you that we're looking at only about 7 miles wide would be the portion of the storm that's about to move over Roanoke. And then up here from on the Woodland side of things, down to Rock Mills, that's about 18 miles, maybe 19 mile wide area of heavy rain that's moving to the southeast. So the point I'm trying to make is down here at the Lime community, Rock Mills, Weehadkee, you're likely going to be in the heavy rain longer than what we would expect to see for Roanoke. Roanoke's, the width of the line is about 8 miles coming into the Roanoke area. And even down here at Wadley, it's even a little bit less, about 4 miles down here at Wadley. So if we're moving at about 40 miles per hour, then you can take those numbers I just gave you and do calculations as to about how long that torrential rainfall will be over your particular area. Looking back at the Sylacauga storm, down to Alexander City, you're looking at 25 miles. So no question that's the widest part of this line of thunderstorms. So this part of our coverage area over here around Goodwater down to Alexander City is going to be in the very heavy torrential rain longer than anybody else up and down this line of thunderstorms. Again, a special weather statement continues for central and southeastern Carroll, northeastern Heard, southern and eastern Randolph, southwestern Clay, extreme southeastern Talladega, northern Coosa, and northwestern Tallapoosa County. And I suspect that Chambers County may get added to this special weather statement, though I think that part of the line that's going to move through Chambers may be in the early stages of weakening a little bit. Though you would not be able to convince the folks up here at New Site of that, or Daviston, because there's a tremendous amount of rain there and a lot of thunder and lightning. Banda, Milltown, Pennon, Frog Eye, Shiloh, Marcoot, even down to around Buffalo. Heads up, this is just off to your northwest, and it will be slowly moving your way. Lots of lightning in Roanoke, specifically out around Bud Cummings Road. And as I zoom in, you can see, now I know that the lightning is so intense and the weather conditions are such that the sound is carrying so far, but you can clearly see on the radar. I know it's hard to see on a phone screen because the phone screens are small. And oh, by the way, you folks need to make sure you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course click that little bell. But you can watch us on your big screen television on YouTube, and you can see the resolution of what we're showing you is much, much better and much easier to see. So make sure that you try to watch us at least on an iPad or a tablet because your screen's bigger, and on your big screen TV. Because that's the best way to do it. But you can see here by looking at the radar that the lightning is actually a little bit off to the west and northwest of Bud Cummings Road. Now, you may see it streaking through the air, and that's certainly possible, and you're probably seeing the flash of light out there on Bud Cummings, but the actual bolt of lightning is taking place just north of 22 back up toward Crystal Lake, Friendship Road, Friendship Community, maybe up around Cornhouse, back toward Wadley, and it is moving in your direction, though. Bud Cummings Road, it'll be there, probably within the next 3 to 4 minutes. It's going to be right on top of you, but yeah, pretty cool stuff there. And even you folks back over here in northwestern Chambers County, it appears as though the lightning is right on top of you. And there have been a few small strokes of lightning up there around Abanda, but if you're in Pennon, you're seeing and hearing all this lightning over around Daviston and New Site as it moves to the southeast. Ashley, I don't know the answer to that. I have not seen anything on social media about the schools. And I'm going to say this. It's probably going to depend on whether or not there is actually any flooding taking place in Randolph County. And I'm sure the school system is trying to assess that right now. This very heavy rainfall won't last very, very long. You still got moderate rain up there in Wedowee, no question. But if you'll notice, the backside of all of this is up there along the I-20 corridor. So this is not going to be a 3 or a 4 hour event. This is going to be something that's going to end. If you're in the heavy rain right now, you're probably going to have to deal with it for 30 to 45 minutes, and then you'll just go back to light and moderate rain showers. The heaviest rain is right along the leading edge of this front that's pushing off to the southeast at around 20 to 30 miles per hour. So it's not going to last that long. So, I'm going to do what any parent would do if it's unsafe, and I don't care if it's from weather or what it's from. If I'm in an unsafe, I feel like it's an unsafe environment to put my child and myself in, I ain't doing it. I mean, let the chips fall where they may, deal with whatever the consequences are later. But I'm not gonna, and I'm not directing this at the school or the school administrators. Don't take me wrong. But what I'm trying to tell you is use some common sense. I'm not going to let somebody else talk me into putting my children, grandchildren, or any member of my family into harm's way because of this is our schedule, this is what we're going to do. Heck no. I'm going to sit down on the couch and eat my Cheerios and watch cartoons with the kids until it's safe to take them and put them in the automobile and drive them down the road and let them out at the schoolhouse. And that's me. You guys can do certainly what you want to do, but I'm not going to do it just because that's what we're told to do. My life and my children's life and your life means more to me than that. So use a little common sense in these situations. If it's unsafe, don't do it. Just lost power out in Dickert. Hey, good morning, Dale Kane. Tell my buddy Mike I said hello. Pretty gusty winds. Thank you, Tanya. Hey, Jennifer over in Ashland. Things should be improving for you pretty soon. Maybe not right this moment. You still got some pretty heavy rain in the area, but most of the lightning is now, I mean, there have been a couple of strikes right there around Ashland, but the bulk of the lightning is now well south of you. What time will it hit Chambers County? Well, it's moving into Chambers County now, up here in the northwest portion of Chambers. Probably another 20 minutes or so before it makes it down into the Lafayette area. I'm pretty intrigued here. Let me let this loop through to make sure we didn't miss it. Weather Service has not added Chambers County to the special weather statement, which is an indication to me that this line is not as strong as it once was. Let me look at some things here in the chat room. Here's a report of some flooding that's taking place. Center Springs Road, Philadelphia Road. I don't know where that's at. Trees down. All right, so Bluntsville, that's up north. Aniana. I'm seeing a lot of reports of flooding up in Aniana from this exact same line that came through there about an hour and a half ago. So yeah, they're not adding Chambers County to the special weather statement, even though that's a pretty strong looking cell moving into northwest Chambers, coming out of Daviston and out of Wadley. So heads up, Abanda, Milltown, Shiloh, Pennon, all coming at you. But so far, Weather Service hasn't issued anything on it. A lot of thunder, lightning, and heavy rainfall. The storm in Clay County is moving southeast. It's not moving toward Randolph. East-southeast. But I think the bulk of this is going to come across the top of Tallapoosa and then dive down into Chambers. Roanoke, you've got heavy rain right now. A lot of thunder and lightning in Roanoke, stretching all the way back down to Wadley. And then part of the northern tip of that stuff in Clay could move across extreme southern Randolph County. But I think the bulk of the what I'm referring to is the Sylacauga storm. It's not over Sylacauga anymore. It's moving into Clay. But the bulk of that Sylacauga storm is going to move across northern Tallapoosa and into probably northern or central Chambers. We just caught a severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa County for that exact same storm. All right, so let me read this to you. The National Weather Service in Birmingham has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for central Tallapoosa County in east central Alabama until 7:15 a.m. At 6:37, a severe thunderstorm was located over Alexander City, moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. The hazard with this storm is 60-mile-per-hour winds as it moves to the southeast. So, again, the bulk of that storm is going to move down into Tallapoosa and then I think over into Chambers. And that's the storm I'm talking about. We were just discussing it. And now the Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for that storm that's directly over Alexander City at the moment and moving to the southeast. So, obviously, Alexander City, you've got a severe storm on top of you. Heads up. Places like Eagle Creek, maybe Horseshoe Bend, Eagle Creek, Jackson's Gap, down here at Wind Creek State Park, especially the north end of Lake Martin, down to around Dadeville, Camp Hill, Waverly, and if the storm holds together, into southeast or southwestern Chambers County, Oak Bowery, down into Lee County, Gold Hill, and then Auburn, Opelika, maybe even Lochapoka, if the storm holds together. And probably you're looking at about 45 minutes before it would get down here to the Auburn, Opelika area, just for planning purposes. But zooming back out again, and the thing that I'm really a little bit confused about, this storm up here in northeastern Chambers, I am not a meteorologist. I've been doing this a long time, though. This portion of the storm up in Chambers looks as significant, if not more so, than the storm down in Alexander City, and they've not even given us a special weather statement on the Chambers County storm. So I'm not following the logic there. Even up here in Roanoke, Even up here in Roanoke, look at the hail core that we've got showing up now. This would be from downtown Roanoke to the south, out there on 431, out there on the bypass. There's probably some hail taking place there, and the computer is telling us probably dime to penny-sized hail, if you guys are seeing any right there. All right, so we've lost power in Roanoke off of Louanna Road. So we know we've got power outages taking place along this line now. That's several reports of no power in and around Roanoke. Martha says her poor dog's having a nervous breakdown. Thunder and lightning. It's pretty rough out there this morning. Again, power is off on Louanna Road. No, we will not have storms all day long. As soon as this line of storms moves through, then our chances won't really come back until later on this afternoon, and I don't think we're looking at a widespread event this afternoon. So odds are most of you, this will be it for today as soon as we get this out of here, and it'll be out of here within the next hour or so. Reports of power out, Doublehead Road, power out in Roanoke. Things should be improving up there in Woodland. If they haven't already, they will be soon. Reports that the rain and wind has calmed down a little bit in Potash. No power at Broughton Ridge. Just drove from Wadley to Newside on Highway 22, and it was rough. Lightning and wind. Yeah, no question. So let me zoom back out so we can see where we've got here. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for Tallapoosa County. The heaviest part of the line of thunderstorms now moving down into Chambers and down into Tallapoosa. And the best hail indication I've got on radar is this stuff right here in southeastern Randolph County. That's a pretty good indication of hail. Now it's going to be out there on Bud Cummings Road, south of Highway 22, anywhere south of 22 all the way down to the county line. We could have some hail taking place, and all the way out to Rock Mills, Bacon Level. You may have some hail headed your way, if not already. And again, we're showing that we're probably looking at pea-sized, marble-sized, maybe dime to penny-sized hail. Out there on the east side of Roanoke, all the way out to Rock Mills and down to about Bacon Level. Out there on County Road 16, Bud Cummings Road, you could be seeing some hail out there this morning. Of course, Heard County's just covered up with heavy rain over there. Being told things are getting better up on the ridge. Things are improving in Wedowee. You still got rain, but you're not in the thunder, the lightning, and the torrential rain. And I'm just baffled as to why we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa and not even a special weather statement for Chambers. It almost makes me feel like I'm missing something here. But I'm in the room with the National Weather Service, and I don't see anything for Chambers County. But Dr. Don is telling you, you got a big nasty coming down across northern Chambers County this morning. 431 is a complete washout. Highway 77, no-go. You don't need to be traveling up here in northern Chambers or southern Randolph, especially from Roanoke southeast. You don't need to be traveling from Roanoke to LaGrange. I know a lot of you work in LaGrange and live in Roanoke. You don't need to be out there on 109, or you don't need to be out there on 22 or 34 going toward Franklin either at the moment. These areas are just covered up with torrential rainfall. Okay, so all right, so I'm trying to make sense of this, and I think the reason they issued the severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa County is that right there. You've got some 54-mile-per-hour winds up there on 22, about halfway between Alexander City and New Site. Now, that's up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's not necessarily at the surface, but you also have extremely heavy rain in the same area, which could be pushing that wind to the surface. And then this, but the problem I got is you look over here at the Chambers County storm, and we're showing 45-mile-per-hour winds over there, and we don't even have a special weather statement. Now, that's the puzzling part of this. Not second guessing, I'm just confused. And I don't like to be confused. I like to understand what I'm looking at. And that doesn't make sense to me that we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa County, and we don't even have a special weather statement for Chambers. It looks like they have let the special weather statement for Randolph expire as well. That box has gone, and the storm looks as strong as it's ever looked right this moment with that hail core right there in Randolph County. And there's no question the hail output of this storm has increased. I mean, look, there's almost nothing there. This was at 6:25. Bring it current, look at that. 20 minutes later, we have this indication of a rather widespread hail core. So that's an indication that the storm has increased in intensity, and there's not even a special weather statement here. I'm telling you, folks, up here in northern Chambers County and extreme southeastern Randolph, be careful. You've got a really nasty storm moving over your area that's probably putting down some hail. I know that we have multiple power outages now. The city of Roanoke is out, or at least over on the west side is out. We have confirmation of hail now. Thank you, Jody. We have confirmation of hail out on County Road 16. We see the storm's hitting the Bay Pine area of Jackson Gap right now. Power's out on 61. Thank you, Sonia. Heather, I don't know about Randolph County Schools. I haven't heard anything from them. Let's see. Quail Run is out. So we've got there comes the special weather statement for Chambers County. Thank you, National Weather Service. Because I'm having anxiety here. I probably would have gone with a severe thunderstorm warning, but again, those folks at the Weather Service know what they're doing, though I think they were a little late on this special weather statement. There it is for Chambers County. So let me read this for you. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of northern Chambers County through 7:30 a.m. At 6:48, Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from near Standing Rock to Trammell Crossroads, moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. Winds in excess of 40 miles per hour within this storm. Yeah, I told you that 10 minutes ago. But there you go. That's what's happening. Things are getting better in Roanoke now, and they will improve. They'll continue to improve. Even you folks over here around Bacon Level and back toward McCosh's Mill, up toward Wehatkie and over toward the Lime community, your weather will start to improve here pretty quick. Now, you're still going to have rain in the area. I mean, even up into northern Randolph County, we still have rain. Still raining in Woodland. But that strong to severe element of this storm is down here along the leading edge of this line of storms, and it's moving away from you. It's moving on down into Tallapoosa, Chambers, and it's eventually going to be over here in the LaGrange area as well, already up here in northern Troup County, and you do have a special weather statement, Hogansville. You have a special weather statement up here at Franklin, Wares Crossroads. I would anticipate a new special weather statement to come out shortly for the remainder of Troup County, including LaGrange. I mean, just looking at it, it appears to me the northern Chambers County storm is certainly the strongest one out there right now, even though we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Tallapoosa and finally a special weather statement for Chambers. Well, Robin says that Randolph County buses are running at normal time, and now things are improving for most of the county, but the problem is you don't know what the roads look like from what's already moved through. So I'm just going to assume, because I trust the county school system and the city school system, I do. They're good people. They know what they're doing. I'm just assuming that they have gone out and done some spot checking and there isn't a whole lot of flooding or there isn't any major problems out there. So they've decided to go ahead with the normal schedule. That's at least the word coming from Robin Osselbrook there. That buses are running on normal schedule. Okay, I hit the wrong button, folks. Sorry.
This is severe weather coverage for East.
And Clint, you're going to have to be quiet for a second. No tornadoes, Molly. This is not a tornado setup. Lots of rain, thunder, lightning, and now down in Chambers County, we have a pretty good hail core showing up there across the northern part of the county. Buses for Randolph County High School ran on time this morning. Looks like Rock Mills is running on time as well. According to Kayla, as of 6:50, Randolph County buses are running. Power is out on County Road 104, Chambers near Clarksville. Severe thunder and lightning. We do have power on Main Street in Roanoke. I think, from what I can tell from the reports I've received, the power outage is going to be on the west side of Roanoke. Still have power at Kidstown. Quail Run is out. You're welcome, Molly. Hailing in, got hail currently in Standing Rock. Yeah. I have not heard from Clay County, not sure. Mike says it's dark enough at his house for the outdoor security light to come on. Getting dark in Dadeville. We got a pretty good hailstorm going on up here in northern Chambers. There you go. We just got ground truth report from Standing Rock that they have hail, and there it is right there from Standing Rock back to McCosh's Mill, back over toward Welch, all down 431 to Stroud, down to about 5 points, back over toward Doublehead, Clarksville, Rock Fence Farm, just north of Rock Fence, back over toward Milltown, and maybe even some hail back near Newman Farms over here in Pennon. Rain is just beginning down in Buffalo. Lafayette, it's knocking on your door. Again, officially, we continue with a severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa County. That would cover places like Eagle Creek down to Jackson Gap, Dadeville, the north end of Lake Martin, down to Camp Hill and Waverly. We have a special weather statement now for northern Chambers County, but my goodness, look at that. I mean, there's no question where the strongest storm is right now. It's in Chambers. I mean, look at that hail core up there. I'm just baffled as to why we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning for Chambers County. Things are improving for Randolph, even though I see a couple of small hail cores redeveloping in Randolph now. I would not expect this to become an issue, but just so you know, maybe some small hail, either small hail or very heavy rain just southwest of Wedowee. But the back edge of all of this, you see it's right there knocking on your door, Wedowee. We do have a few redeveloping showers back up around Talladega and right there along the Clay-Talladega County line. But these should not go severe. It'll just be rain. And that's what we're looking at this morning. Just incredible. Look at that. 238 strokes of lightning. Actually, at one time, it was up over 400. So looking at the trend, here, we got over almost 500 strokes of lightning about an hour ago out of this line of storms. And then it weakened as it got into southern Randolph County. But as the system moved into northern Chambers, it bowled back up. I mean, it cycled again. But now we're beginning to see a decrease in lightning output everywhere except northern Chambers and maybe northeastern Tallapoosa. Still got a lot of lightning output there. So we will go in tight on those two storms. And and look at the strike counter. We're looking at 167 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes. Now, this is not per hour. This is in the last 3 minutes. 167 lightning strikes between Chambers County and Tallapoosa County. Okay, I'm not familiar with Evansville. Tell me where you're at. I think I've heard of Evansville, but I can't pull it up. Tell me where Evansville is. Miss Cecilia says that she's still got a lot of lightning. Yeah. Power's out at traffic light on 280 in Dadeville. Okay, so right there at the Citco, you know where we're talking about. Power is out there in Dadeville. Brandy says she saw the light actually get struck by lightning. Wow. Miranda says that 5 points is awful. All right, Mike says he just got the special weather statement for Troop. Andrew says it's getting down and dirty in Wadley. Things should start improving in Wadley pretty quick. State Line Road off of 109 going toward LaGrange. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, out there where the little country store is, or used to be. I'm not sure it's still there anymore. Going toward LaGrange on the left. Yeah, I know where you're talking about. Yeah, this is headed your way. I mean, it's knocking on your door. Wind and lightning crazy now. Bundle of nerves here in Standing Rock. You okay, Tabitha? It is a strong thunderstorm, no question about that. But we don't have tornadoes in this. You're going to get a tremendous amount of rain, thunder, lightning, and possibly some hail. Back in the day, I'm talking back in the day, I did a television show for about 3 years on local television in LaGrange, and so of course I lived in Roanoke, so I would travel through Evansville or in that area twice a day. I'd come over in the mornings and do the television show, and then I'd come back at night and I actually did the weather on the evening news. And they used to, I'll always remember this. I used to stop in there and get a drink, especially going back over in the evenings to do the weather on the news. So yeah, I know exactly where you're at. Ware's Crossroads, very heavy rainfall up there around Hogansville, moving into LaGrange now. This is going to kind of come at you from the north and northwest. Put this in motion, I think. It looks to me like what's going on here, the line itself is moving southeast, but this energy within the line is moving more east than southeast. Let me rock this back and forth, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. No question the line is sinking southeast, but watch the purple in the lightning output. It's moving almost directly to the right across your screen, while the individual line itself is moving down and to the right. You can see it right there. So I think this is a piece of energy that's moving through this line of thunderstorms, and I believe it probably will. If that holds together, I think it probably will move right over downtown LaGrange. And then that second piece of energy coming out of Tallapoosa County is doing the same thing. It's coming right up the wake of this first wave of energy that has moved across northern Chambers, now about to move into northern Troup County. And again, that looks twice as strong as what we're seeing down here on 280. I'm not taking away from you guys over there in Alexander City and down to Dadeville. You have a strong thunderstorm on top of you, no question at all. You got torrential rainfall, heavy thunder and lightning. You got hail down there. It's very dangerous driving conditions on 280, no question. But my point is, look at this stuff up here in Chambers County. We've got hail up here on top of everything you guys have got down there in Tallapoosa. And we have another piece of energy coming across Daviston, moving across the exact same areas. And all we have is a special weather statement, and I was about to think we were not going to get that for our folks up here in northern Chambers County. So, not sure what the problem was there, but I think the Weather Service could have been a little more proactive on that one. We may have a little hail up here again, northwest of Roanoke, between Roxton and Wadley, up around Crystal Lake, moving toward Roanoke. But nothing like what we're seeing down here in Chambers County. I mean, look at that. From Standing Rock all the way down to Fredonia, and then back over to 431, just a large area of hail taking place. It doesn't look like it's severe-sized hail. It's probably just pea-sized hail, but there appears to be a lot of it out there. Reports that it is getting bad in LaGrange. Cecilia says over in Pennon, they did not have any hail, but lots of thunder and lightning and rain. Yeah, Miss Cecilia, you got another piece of energy coming out of Tallapoosa, I think. It's not as significant as this first batch, but if you'll look there to the left, right along the Tallapoosa County, Chambers County line, basically from Wadley down to about Budston, and that's moving east, so it's moving directly toward you there in Pennon. Again, it doesn't. If you didn't get anything out of any hail out of the first round, odds are pretty good you're probably not going to get any out of this one, but you could. I mean, it's a pretty broad area of scattered light hail coming out of Tallapoosa, moving toward Pennon. Millie says that the bottom has fallen out in the mountain community, but not much lightning now. And it won't last long. You see right there, the back edge of it's coming up on you. So it won't. You got heavy rain at the moment, but it won't last very long there in southern Clay County. All right, so I've got to take a quick break. I'm going to leave the feed up, and I'll put the radar in motion for you. I've got thunder. I can hear some pretty strong thunder here at the studios in northeast Georgia. So when that happens, there are a couple of things I have to do right quick to try to protect the equipment. So I'm going to leave the feed up, and I'll leave the radar in motion, and I'll take a quick break, and I'll be right back, and we'll continue with our live severe weather coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. Stay with us.
You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. This is Dr. Don's Weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. This is Dr. Don's Weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. This is Dr. Don's Weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. This is Dr. Don's Weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. This is Dr. Don's Weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. This is Dr. Don's Weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's drdonwx.com. This is Dr. Don's weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's drdonwx.com. This is Dr. Don's weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's drdonwx.com. This is Dr. Don's weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's drdonwx.com. This is Dr. Don's weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's drdonwx.com. This is Dr. Don's weather. You're watching severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Dr. Don is currently on break and will return shortly. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and consider supporting us by clicking on the donate button at drdonwx.com. That's drdonwx.com. This is Dr. Don's weather.
All right, good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Back in here with you. Had to take a quick short break. I happened to be off today, or at least that was the idea. So I'm working anyway. We've got storms moving into our area up here in northeast Georgia also. So there was a couple of things I had to take care of there and do some housekeeping here to protect our equipment from this brutal lightning. We've got it going on up here now as well. But the storms continue to move off to the southeast. We have that special weather statement covering all of Troup County now. Still have the special weather statement down in Chambers County, especially the northern and central portions of Chambers, and a new special weather statement that's going to cover the southeastern corner of Tallapoosa and the remaining sections of Chambers. So really all except for the northeast corner of Chambers now under a special weather statement for this line of thunderstorms. This line is just barely below severe limits. So the Weather Service is posting special weather statements for all of these areas this morning instead of severe thunderstorm warnings. But they're not far away from being severe. So I just want you to treat these storms with respect this morning. Extremely heavy rainfall, very dangerous lightning. We have noticed a decrease in the lightning output. We're down to about 60 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes. At one time this morning, about an hour ago, we were approaching 500 lightning strikes within a 3-minute period, but now we're down to about actually 50 lightning strikes, and it's continuing to drop fairly quickly. So the lightning output is decreasing along this line, which is an indication that the entire line as a whole is weakening as it moves off to the southeast. Nonetheless, though, very heavy rainfall, dangerous driving conditions out there in LaGrange, all the way back to Standing Rock, over toward Buffalo, down into Lafayette, and even all the way back to Dadeville over in Tallapoosa County. And we still have some heavy rain showers on the back edge of all of this. Near Rockford, back up to about Kellyton and Alexander City. But beyond that, things are improving pretty quickly. Places like Ashland, you're pretty much out of it now. Sylacauga, Childersburg, Talladega, you're all out of it. Still got some heavy rain up here around the Mount Cheahaw State Park, down toward Delta. Newell, you look pretty good right now, but you could catch another brief heavy rain shower in the next 30 minutes. Still some pretty heavy rainfall in Wedowee. Heavy rain down there in Roanoke, back over toward Rock Mills. Franklin, you've got maybe some small hail there just up Highway 100, just northwest of downtown Franklin. Carrollton, you still have moderate rain, but the back edge of that is quickly approaching you. And look at Atlanta. Good thing we're not there this morning. Very heavy rainfall downtown on the connector. And then up here in northeast Georgia, where I am, just light to moderate rain occurring right now with occasional lightning. The heaviest storm up here in northeast Georgia, no question, is going to be up in the mountainous regions up there on Highway 129, maybe around Blood Mountain, up there at the crossing north of Turner's Crossroads. We've got a heavy thunderstorm cell sitting there, and then that cell that just moved through the southern end of White County. Heavy thunderstorm just to the east of Gainesville, moving off toward Homer, and just south of Lula, just north of Talmo down there in Jackson County. No question, the heaviest of all of this, though, is basically along and south of I-20, including Atlanta down to just west of Griffin, about to move into the Griffin area, and then down to the I-85 corridor near the interchange of I-185 and 85. So I-85 is a mess this morning from really north of Atlanta all the way down through LaGrange, West Point, the Kia plant down there at Lynette. The storm's about to move into the Valley area. Auburn, Opelika, you're still looking pretty good right now, but all of this will eventually make it down there to you. But the good news for you is this does appear to be weakening as it's moving off to the southeast this morning. Miss Cecilia, I can see the comments just fine on my end. Not sure. All right, so the when you say the only statements came from you, yeah. See, so I don't know. I don't know that the Weather Service is still alerting for special weather statements on the NOAA weather radio. I know they used to. I'm not sure they're still doing that. So it may be that warnings and watches are going to be the only thing you're going to get as far as an alert is concerned. Not positive on that, though. Paula says heavy thunder in 5 points. Heavy rain and wind in LaGrange. So yeah, the Weather Service in the chat room that I'm monitoring, the Weather Service is telling us that the storm in Tallapoosa County is gradually weakening, and I think that's going to apply to the entire line. They did let the warning expire at 7:15. Birmingham or Montgomery was showing okay, so they're explaining why they issued the warning for Tallapoosa a while ago. The Montgomery radar was showing 58 mile per or 58 knot winds when the warning was issued. And then they go on to say they're not sure how much of that was making it to the ground. So they did issue that warning based on the wind. If you'll remember, about 20 minutes ago, I was all confused as to why we had a severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa and nothing for Chambers based off of the hail output. And then I turned the velocity product on and we looked at the winds, and I told you that was the only thing I could figure out, that they did it because of that 50 to 60 mile per hour wind that the storm was showing. But I even said that I'm not sure that's making it to the ground, and that's exactly what the Weather Service is now telling us. That's why they issued that warning, and I'm cool with that. But I think that there should have been something issued for Chambers much sooner. And had I been sitting at that console of the Weather Service, of course I'm not, but if I had been, I would have gone with the severe thunderstorm. If I was going to do it for Tallapoosa under that particular setup, I'd have done it for Chambers as well, because that was a nasty line of thunderstorms that moved through the northern parts of Chambers County. Jen says very heavy rain bands moving through LaGrange. Yeah, no question. And again, that's been the main threat from this line of storms. The dangerous lightning and the periods of extremely heavy rainfall that's causing some street level flooding everywhere it moves through. Paula says it's still bad in 5 points. Yeah, you still have extremely heavy rain. I mean, there you go. We're looking at 5 points right there. And no question, you still got very heavy rain, and you've got lightning all around you. I mean, just in the last 3 minutes, you've had 11 lightning strikes right there in the 5 points general vicinity. Down here at White Plains, Fredonia, even all the way back to Rock Fence Farm and back over toward Pennon, we still have some heavy rain. LaGrange, again, you're in the middle of the heavy rain, maybe some very small spotted areas of light hail off to the west side over there around Lee's Crossing. Heavy rain all the way down through West Point Lake, West Point Dam. Heavy rain and maybe some hail about to cross over I-85 at the Kia Motor Plant. Lynette, this is just getting going for you. Shawmut, Hughley Valley, it's headed your way. And you can see that hail up here north of Highway 50 that's moving directly toward West Point and Lynette. All right, so Donnie Knight, the EMA director for Randolph County, is reporting trees down on County Road 65 and 22, trees and power lines down on 65 near 26, trees down on State Highway 22 with the woods on fire from power lines. And there's an automobile accident currently in Randolph County in the 9300 block of 16, County Road 16, all weather related. So that's a great report right there from Randolph County EMA. Again, I'll read it for you. Trees down on County Road 65 and 22. Trees and power lines down on 65 near 26. Trees down on State Route 22 with the woods on fire from those power lines. And a motor vehicle accident in the 9300 block of Highway 16. All weather related. And that all makes sense because all of the mentions there, 65 and 22, 65 and 26, and County Road 16 are all in the, they're on the, not the same general area, but on the southern end of Randolph County, which is where this storm started intensifying. And then was at its height once it made it down there to the Randolph County, Chambers County line. And that's when I started really becoming concerned that we didn't have anything from the Weather Service because it was obvious that the storm was pulsing right there. And then so now Donnie's posting information about damage and an automobile accident because of it in that same area. Yeah, thank you, Cecilia. I appreciate those kind words. Again, and this has happened more times than I can remember now, because it keeps happening. God's putting me in the right place at the right time to give you guys the information you need during these events. I mean, I literally took the day off today from my daytime grocery buying job. And so that put me in a position where I could stay with you and do wall-to-wall coverage this morning on an event that from the outside looking in should not have been that bad, but it looks like now this is going to turn out to be a pretty significant line of thunderstorms that came through East Alabama and West Georgia. Wadley and Daviston, yeah, things are improving rapidly in the Wadley, Daviston, New Site area. Still some heavy rain down there at Frog Eye, but it'll clear up for you here pretty quick. And you can see off to the west, there's nothing else behind it. So, yeah, things should rapidly improve in the New Site, Daviston, Wadley areas of northeast Tallapoosa and southwestern Randolph. And then northwestern Chambers will follow pretty quick. Things will start getting better there for you. Heard County is going to be okay. You've got a heavy thunderstorm cell just northeast of Franklin out there headed toward Noonan. You probably have some hail in that out there around the school about right now. About to move into Coweta County. But overall, Heard County's not in bad shape. You've got some more heavy rain up here in northern Randolph and back up toward Mount Cheahaw that will move toward Heard County and southern Carroll, but nothing severe. Anything that would have wind in it that would be approaching severe levels would be down here along the leading edge of the line of thunderstorms. Everything else behind it, especially in Randolph, northern Clay, southern Cleburne, southern Carroll, and Heard, would just be periods of heavy rainfall, an occasional lightning strike, and maybe some scattered light hail. But all of this will be out of East Alabama and West Georgia within the next hour or so. And weather conditions will be fine for probably the rest of the day. And then when we get into the heat of the afternoon, we could see some redevelopment. But I don't think we see anything like what we saw this morning. In long range, looking at this, I mean, we have a chance of scattered thunderstorms every afternoon. It's that time of year. But as we get into Monday and Tuesday of next week, the problem is going to be the heat. it's going to return again with vengeance. I mean, we're talking heat index values Monday and Tuesday of next week, maybe approaching 120 degrees down in the Columbus area. We may be in the 109 to 110 range across most of East Alabama and West Georgia, but down there around Columbus, they're telling us we may be approaching 120 degree heat index value. That's what it feels like combined, the temperature combined with the humidity levels. So some really dangerous heat returning to the area, maybe Sunday afternoon, but certainly on Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll have a front come through late Tuesday, and Wednesday may feel like a fall day. We're getting into that time of year when we're going to start having cold fronts now move through, and that's going to, we're going to heat up and we're going to get all tropical and steamy and just typical yucky southeastern weather, and then we'll get a cold front. I don't think Tuesday's cold front's going to bring a severe threat, though it will bring some rain threat. And then once the cold front passes, it's going to feel like a fall Saturday afternoon for a day or two, and then the heat slowly returns. So that cycle is going to start being more prevalent here in the next few coming weeks. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate those kind words. I'm just blessed I've been given this opportunity to do this. I mean, this is, to me, this is the dream opportunity to be able to help folks. And I'm fortunate that the county I work for up here in Northeast Georgia is very understanding and understands the history between me and East Alabama and West Georgia, and the fact that I was there for 22 years, and with modern technology, I can still continue to give you the coverage you deserve, that you're not going to get from the major television markets around you, because, and it's not necessarily their fault. It is what it is. But I'm able to do this, and with everybody's support out there, we can continue this for the foreseeable future. And I'm very fortunate that the folks I work for up here in Northeast Georgia understand all of that, because they are public safety minded folks. It doesn't matter if you're in Wedowee, Alabama, or Helen, Georgia. You're still human beings, and political jurisdictions don't have anything to do with saving lives. They don't. So they understand all of that, and they're very understanding and allow me to do coverage. I mean, of course, I have to give priority to my county that I serve here in Northeast Georgia. That goes without saying, but they're understanding about when I as long as it's things are okay here, then I can turn my attention to East Alabama and West Georgia, and that's a fortunate thing. Emily says it is dark in Valley, Alabama, rain and wind starting now. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that, those kind words from you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Bernard. Yeah, the storms are moving into the Lynette, West Point Valley areas now, right there along I-85. You've got maybe some small hail about to move into the Lynette area, moving across the river right there at Valley. You folks down here at Lake Harding, get ready. It's just off to your north. Beans Mill, same thing. Auburn, Opelika area, you're going to see this. I think the storms are in a weakening phase as they move to the southeast, so I'm not sure that you see what we saw up in southern Randolph and northern Chambers, but you're most certainly going to get a period of very heavy rainfall, some occasional lightning, maybe a little gusty wind out on the leading edge of this line of storms. I mean, the winds could gust 20, 30 miles per hour. And it's going to be wet there in the Auburn-Opelika area for an hour or so, and then all of this is going to be done for the morning. Not an all-day event here. This is an hour or 2 hour affair, and then it's over with. Traffic is backed up on Highway 109 before you get to Standing Rock. I think probably, and I don't know this, there are multiple reasons the traffic could be backed up, but you probably have some trees across 109 if I had to guess. You're welcome, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. So getting reports of traffic has come to a standstill on 109 right before you get to Standing Rock. So that would be in this area right here. Or maybe on the Alabama side, but nonetheless, probably got some trees down up here around Standing Rock because that storm was at its height when it came through Standing Rock. But the rain should be lessening in Standing Rock. Conditions should be improving there now. You still have very heavy rainfall, though, from the Alabama state line in Georgia on 109 all the way over to LaGrange and even up I-85 and back down toward Lynette Valley, West Point. Heavy rain continues in Lafayette, back toward Camp Hill, down around Bama Park. Another quick shot of heavy rain moving through Alexander City. And Alexander City, once this clears your area, you're done for this morning. There's absolutely nothing else out there. More heavy rain moving into Wedowee up there along the north side of Highway 48, and then also up 48 toward Newell. We have some heavy rain there, and that stretches back to Mount Cheahaw. But again, once that moves through Randolph County, you're in the clear for the morning. Ashland, Lineville, things much better there now. Talladega, you're out of it. Sylacauga, Childersburg, you're completely out of it. Carrollton, you're out of it for the morning. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this up. I'll continue to monitor this, and if things were to change, we'll come right back and continue with coverage. But at the moment, we have a decaying line of thunderstorms moving into southern Chambers, southern Troop, about to move into northern Lee, and down into northern Harris. Small sliver of it continues back over in Tallapoosa as well. So Tallahassee, you've been pretty lucky so far this morning, but you're about to get some rain. But you're not going to see anything down there like what we've seen up in northern Tallapoosa, northern Chambers, Troop County, back up in Randolph, Clay, and Hurd. It has been a very stormy, wet start to your Friday morning. But the line of storms, as it moves to the southeast, is weakening. We're not seeing nearly the lightning output now as we once saw earlier this morning. I mean, at the moment, we're looking at the entire storm cell, which stretches from Gainesville, Georgia, back through Atlanta Metro and down to near Tallahassee, Alabama. And in that entire area, and we're looking at about 200 miles there, we're only seeing 185 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes. 2 hours ago, this thing was just in East Alabama, was putting out 500 strokes of lightning within a 3-minute period. So a tremendous decrease in lightning output with this storm over the last hour or so across East Alabama and West Georgia. Hey, Judy Bennett, thank you. Appreciate that. So we're going to wind up our wall-to-wall coverage. We'll go back to just going live when conditions warrant. I don't think we're probably going to see that, but I will continue to watch this, and we will continue to bring you weather statements as they're issued by the National Weather Service. One quick update before I go. We have a brand new special weather statement that was just issued, and this is going to be for the east side of Atlanta, out there around Covington, and that stretches down to just north of Macon. So if you are traveling through Atlanta this morning, God bless you. And if you're going to be going out there on I-20 from downtown Atlanta, you're going to run right through a heavy part of this line of thunderstorms, and that line's going to run right out I-20. So heads up Athens, heads up Eatonton, down toward Milledgeville, and maybe eventually Augusta if this line holds together that long. Out there on the east side of Atlanta. So, again, we'll continue to watch this for you this morning, and if need be, we'll come right back and continue with our live coverage of severe weather here on Dr. Don's Weather. We encourage you to support us if you can. We greatly appreciate it. This adventure does take a good bit of that those greenbacks to make all of this happen. So anything you can do to support us, we appreciate that. You can send us Facebook stars. You can go to our website at drdonwx.com. There's a donate button there. Or just send me a message on Messenger, and I can send you all the links and tell you how you can support us. If you own a business, get in touch with us. We'd love to have you as a partner here with us on Dr. Don's Weather. Don't talk to you anymore today. Have a fantastic Friday, and we'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with our early morning prime time forecast on Dr. Don's Weather.
This has been severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. Coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Wade Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. We will continue to monitor weather conditions and return with the latest information as conditions warrant. This is Dr. Don's Weather.